Brought to administration in the Ad Council.
Is your furnace operating like you think it should? Find out with a service check now from the pros at Bryant. No matter what make or model, Bryant will perform a thorough system check to make sure you're good to go this winter. Bryant also offers free second opinion heat exchanger checks. Before you spend thousands on a new furnace, let Bryant check it free. Anytime you need furnace service or repair, just call Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing, 467-1111. We do whatever it takes.
As the chief buffet officer here at Pizza Ranch, I get all kinds of buffet questions. Here's one from Cole.
Is there a real cactus in your cactus bread?
Great question, Cole. No, there is no cactus in our cactus bread, just sweet cinnamony streusel. It's on our buffet every day, along with pizza, chicken, ice cream, and all your other favorites. Even better, at least for your parents, kids eat free on Tuesday nights. And don't worry, Cole, there's no coal in our coleslaw either.
Pizza Ranch, everyone's favorite buffet.
Okay, it's time to sell the house. How do we even begin to choose from the hundreds of realtors in town?
Easy. We make a pros list.
You mean a pros and cons list?
No, just a pros list. We need someone with pro photography to showcase the house in the best possible way, pro marketing to make sure we get maximum exposure, pro negotiations so we know we get the best price.
This is one of those times where you already know the right answer, isn't it?
You know it is. Ben Bleicher and Professional Realty Group.
Contact Ben Bleicher and the team at Professional Realty Group of Berkshire Hathaway's Home Services Ambassador. Online at prg-ne.com.
On the Block with Strick and Austin.
Now, to tie it back to Nebraska men's basketball, this group has a chance to do something that hasn't been done before.
Yeah.
You know, in making a run in the Big Ten tournament, a serious run, in winning the first NCAA tournament game, but they're not going to get there by doing the same things they've always done. It is on this team to step up and change that narrative. It won't change on its own. Teams won't lay over for you, and that's the mindset shift we haven't consistently seen yet.
Weekdays from 2 to 4 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
It's phishing season. Bad actors are trolling your business emails, luring you and your employees to take the bait and steal your private information. Make sure your cybersecurity keeps your business from being the catch of the day. At Hamilton, cybersecurity is our business. We are experts at keeping your network and business information secure and off the hook. Contact Hamilton for a vulnerability assessment today. Hire your local experts. Hire Hamilton at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
At Southeast Community College, community is our middle name. Our continuing education classes offer personal interest, traffic safety and licensing, online learning, and adult education classes across Southeast Nebraska or online in your own home. Learn pottery or floral design. Take a computer course. Learn Spanish, how to start writing a book, or Air Fryer 101. See the full schedule of continuing education classes online at southeast.edu/continuing. SCC, your path to possible.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Live from the heart of Lincoln, America. Welcome to Ticket Weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hello and welcome into the Daily Nebraskan Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. I'm Ben Rose, one of the sports writers at the Daily Nebraskan, and I'm joined here, like always, on every Monday by Anthony and Marissa, two the assistant sports editors at the Daily Nebraskan. Guys, how are you doing tonight?
Doing good. Yeah, doing well. How about you, Ben?
I'm doing great. You know, it's a Monday night. I kind of thought I'd be a little bit more tired than I am. I actually kind of feel a little bit more awake than I thought it would be. So I'm actually doing pretty good. So I'm gonna be top notch this entire hour. So don't worry, I'm not gonna be like sleeping halfway through.
He's locked in.
I'm locked in. So to start the show, we're gonna do like every Monday. It's kind of gonna be a bunch of recaps what happened over the weekend, and we're gonna start with basketball, both men's and women's. We'll start with men's because the men's team just had their senior night. Beat Rutgers, big win, just for the fact that if they would have lost it would have been a really bad loss. It's not that the win is gonna advance them in any metrics that much or anything. It's just the fact that Nebraska really couldn't afford to lose this game. It would have been a bad loss on their resume heading into March. So, big win for them just in the fact that they really needed it, and it was kind of nice way for Casey, Josiah Alex last home game at PBA to end.
Yeah, this win, it doesn't move Nebraska up in any projected seed lines for the NCAA tournament, but a loss there could have definitely moved them down, could have moved them closer to that bubble range, something that they really want to avoid. They want to have as close as a spot locked up heading into the Big Ten tournament. So even if the win, it wasn't the prettiest of wins, especially compared to their previous home outings, but it was still, they got the job done. And yep, it was a very fitting way to send out guys like Keisei Tominaga, Josiah Alec, Jerron Coleman, all those guys. Pinnacle Bank Arena was just on a whole nother level this year, and last night had some of those moments as well.
Yeah, just going off what Anthony said, I know both of us were cheering them on. I mean, I don't know, that's kind of weird to say being journalists. We don't want to talk about cheering on the Huskers all the time, but that atmosphere at PBA was pretty unreal. I would say it's probably one of my favorite games. I wasn't at the Purdue game, so I can't really speak on that experience, but from the games that I went to, it was pretty electric in there, and it was just a perfect ending to the regular season for them.
Yeah, definitely good way to end it at home. Nebraska only one loss at home this season against a pretty good Creighton team, a Creighton team that likely is going to go pretty far in the tournament. Like, there's a lot of people that like Creighton, and I think Creighton's pretty good too. Some people are saying Final Four. I don't know if they're going to make it that far, but we'll see. I think they're at least a Sweet 16 team, which that's kind of, I feel like they always get to like Sweet 16 or Elite 8, and then they always get bounced. So, I mean, that's not really getting bounced, but like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
I see the same thing. Really.
Yeah. Anyways, so great home. Like, PBA was awesome this year. I've been to Husker games every year past 5 years. I've never seen it like that. Like this year, it was just so much fun. Like, I remember, was it the Northwestern game? There was a game that was just like a Thursday. It was like it was a Saturday morning. Like a game that you just it's not going to be that rocking, right? It was the Northwestern game. PBA was so electric on a Saturday morning because they wanted Nebraska to beat Northwestern at home so bad. It's just like they just bring the energy to every game. When Nebraska welcomed Michigan, it was like, they're just going to easily win this game. There was still a great turnout. Everybody still wanted to watch them do that. It's just like PBA has been awesome. Husker fans, as always, have been awesome. And I honestly feel like, I don't know if this is a hot take or not, but I feel like the basketball games are more fun to go to than football games.
I think so as well. I mean, obviously, they're producing a winning product on the basketball court.
Yeah.
Something that the football team hasn't quite been able to do as of late.
Not quite.
But I think just because, with that, their team's playing good. The team was playing hot most of those games, as well as just, a closer atmosphere, around 17,000 people at a game, or I think 15,000. But and every one of them would just be on their feet. Like, I remember I covered the Minnesota game a couple weeks back for the DN. And again, this was a game that it was sold out. And Nebraska and Minnesota, two good teams in the Big Ten, but on any other year, that might not have been that crowded of a game, especially on a Sunday. Students have classes the next day, stuff like that. But man, the crowd was into it from the start to the end. And I also saw it a little bit last night against Rutgers. They really it's like Nebraska has a sixth man on defense. When Rutgers has the ball or Minnesota has the ball, the crowd is just all on their feet, yelling, clapping, banging on chairs. It was truly insane to see this year.
I mean, this is the big reason why Nebraska fans, whether other people outside the state don't want to admit it, Nebraska fans are one of the best fans in the country when it comes to college, if not the best. The fact that Nebraska has supported a losing football team for quite a while. Nebraska is supporting a basketball team that hasn't done anything in its history they still haven't done anything in its history. They haven't done anything yet this year.
Yeah.
They got a chance to this year, a pretty good chance. We can kind of dive into that, but let's first go into the Rutgers game because there wasn't really one person that had oh my gosh, amazing game on senior night. Keisei Tominaga had 18 points, which is good, but he was 1 of 6 on a 3-point line, 6 of 13 from the field. So I mean, not bad, but still didn't have an amazing performance, but still a decent performance for his final home game. Juwan Gary, he's been awesome ever since he came back from that injury. Juwan Gary's been so good. I can only remember one poor game he had. maybe. Like he's been so consistent. He's honestly, since he came back from the injury, he's probably been the best player for Nebraska.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, especially as of late, he kind of has a green light from three. I mean,
Yeah.
He had the 4 3-pointers against Minnesota, and then went 0 of 6 from three against Ohio State. Went 2 of 7 last night, which still probably not the best mark, but you can see he's just playing with so much confidence, which it just allows him to play so freely. I mean, that putback dunk he had late in the first half really shows that he's just playing the perfect basketball that Nebraska needs right now, and it's just really helping him out.
He's the kind of player that Nebraska is going to need to have step up when they get to the tournament. And I'm saying when. It's not if. It's when they get to the tournament, because they just need a two-way guy like that. There's so many guys on this team, like Casey. They're like, he's really great offensive threat, but Casey might get bullied a little bit on the defensive end. This is why a guy like Gary, if Josiah Alec, I feel like he's pretty good on the defensive end too. Like, they need these guys to step up, because when you go into the NCAA tournament, there's going to be teams that have multiple guys that can attack you, and they're going to attack the weakest point. So guy like Juwan Gary that you can just put on their best player, and he's going to do a pretty good job to lock him down. It's really important. So I've really been pleased with Gary. When he got injured, everyone was worrying that it might be season ending. Like, that would have been a huge blow if that would have been season ending. That's why it was such a big deal when it wasn't. It was like just day to day. It was such a big sigh of relief for Husker fans.
Yeah, Nebraska, I don't think if Gary was out for the season, Nebraska's nowhere near where the tournament now. I think they might have still got some wins, but they don't pull out these wins like against Wisconsin in the second half. Juwan Gary came up big on defense down the stretch. I don't think that they might still be on the bubble, but they're definitely not, 4th seed in the Big Ten right now.
Yeah, I'd probably say they're like where either like Minnesota or Iowa is right now. Like, a team like if they make a decent run in the Big Ten tournament could probably get in, but like definitely nowhere near like locked in the tournament. Yeah, I could definitely see that. He's just been so good. But again, this team is pretty deep, so I don't feel like it would have hurt like it would have in years past, if one of the top players went down. Nebraska has a lot of depth, but it definitely would have hurt. Yeah, Gary Tominaga had good games. Josiah Alec, I feel like that's the main guy I want to talk about, because after a poor performance against Ohio State in their last game, which I was kind of disappointed in Alec in that game. He only had like 2 points, 2 rebounds. He turned it around on Sunday, had 10 points, 12 rebounds, was 1 of 1 from the 3-point line. Love to see that. But just it's mostly the rebounding mark, because of Alec's 12 rebounds and Gary's 11, which that's still crazy how good of a rebounder Gary is. That's another reason he's so good. Not because of his defensive effort, rebounding. Nebraska's not a very good rebounding team. That's why they need Gary. But other than that, but yeah, Josiah Alec and Gary, Nebraska out-rebounded Rutgers, which that was a big deal in my opinion, because Nebraska didn't shoot that well from the 3-point line, and Nebraska had 14 turnovers in the game, which isn't terrible, but still like a couple more than you would like. The rebounding margin was definitely a big reason why Nebraska was able to win this game. I kind of want to say pretty handily.
Yeah, I mean, I still just go back to the first meeting Nebraska and Rutgers had.
Go look at the stats.
Dude, 56 rebounds for Rutgers, 25 offensive rebounds. It's just, it's engraved in my memory. I have nightmares about the Rutgers rebounding performance that night. And it was very nice to see this past game how much Nebraska has improved there, at least since from that game. And it was really guys like Gary and Alec, just these high energy guys who, I mean, Gary plays like he's 7 foot, even though he's like 6'7".
Yeah.
And then Josiah Alec, sometimes he plays like he's Sam Hoiberg diving for loose balls and everything like that. So they just had some high energy, and they did just a great job attacking the glass. I mean, Clifford Omori from Rutgers averages 8 rebounds a game. He only had 2, and then he only had 6 points on the game. So they just did a great job on the defensive end, on the offensive end, boxing out, stuff like that.
One thing that I found interesting looking at the stats, and I didn't really realize when I was watching the game, Jamarcus Lawrence only played 11 minutes.
Yeah.
What's your take on that, Anthony?
I think that was just because then look at CJ Wilcher, and he played 20. I think it's kind of been the opposite going like the past couple games where it would be Lawrence playing some good minutes off the bench where Wilcher was in like that 10, 11-minute role.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think Wilcher just was meshing better with those guys. Obviously, was technically his senior night. He walked with the 3 other players, but still has a year of eligibility left. But I think that was more just scheme-wise. Lawrence not losing. I'm not worried about that at all. He'll probably get back up to 20 minutes next game. But CJ Wilcher, I thought had a really nice game. I mean, 2 of 3 from the 3-point line, which that was his first multi 3-pointer game since the Wisconsin game.
Which that was a while ago.
Yeah, it's so crazy how hot he was at that moment and how he just has been on a cold streak since then. But yesterday was a good sign.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting to me because Jamarcus Lawrence has been really good ever since he moved to that bench role. A lot of people criticizing him for not playing as well when he's in the starting lineup. Hoiberg moved him to the bench. He's been really good in that role, but then Wilcher kind of took a step back. Hoiberg took an even more of a step back. Hoiberg, he got 23 minutes, but I just feel like, I don't know. I was kind of hoping this was kind of a year we get to see more of Sam Hoiberg.
Yeah, I mean, he's still offering great defense down the stretch. He has offensively, his shots just really haven't been falling. He's been getting good looks.
Yeah.
He's had some layups that have somehow rimmed in and out. He's just caught some very unlucky breaks. But again, he played 23 minutes, which is the most out of any bench player for Nebraska yesterday.
Yeah.
And I just think he plays his role well. While it's not, an insane offensive player, on the defensive end, he offers a lot for Nebraska.
Yeah. I mean, I was just I'm not criticizing Hoiberg for not playing him enough because, 23 minutes for, the stats he put up is honestly kind of good for how many minutes he was able to get him. But it's still just I was kind of hoping for Sam to take another step forward in his offensive game. I know he's still young, so has some opportunities, next year to play more, get more of a role on the offensive end. But I don't know. I just found it interesting because I was really hoping Sam Hoiberg would be able to take that next step offensively because I feel like he's shown flashes of it this season. I don't remember what game it was, but I remember him and Casey were just hitting 3 after 3 after 3. I don't remember what game it was. Was it the Purdue? I think it was the Purdue game.
I think it might have been.
I think it was the Purdue game because I remember it being a big game and Sam Hoiberg was playing really well. I also remember in the first Rutgers game, he didn't score a single point all night and hit 2 threes in overtime. I also remember that. But yeah, Hoiberg's going to be a good energy guy off the bench when they get to the tournament. You always need that scrappy defensive guard, but I was just hoping a little bit more from him on offensive end. But Nebraska is pretty deep. They have a lot of threats on offense, so I can kind of see why that hasn't been a huge focus for him. But moving on to Rutgers side, there was only 2 guys that topped double-digit points for Rutgers: Jeremiah Williams and then Gavin Griffiths. So Jeremiah Williams, he had 14 points, 3 steals. So that was pretty good for him to have 3 steals, but he was 0 of 3 from the 3-point line. Did Rutgers not have a single guy? They didn't have a single guy play over 30 minutes either, which I find interesting because Bryce Williams, I just now realized this. Bryce Williams played 37. 37. Yes. See, a lot of people have criticized Bryce Williams for not being a true point guard, but Nebraska doesn't need a true point guard. They need a guy like Bryce Williams, a more athletic point guard, in my opinion. They don't need, a guy that can just distribute the ball, in my opinion, because I feel like they have that in Mast a little bit. I feel like they kind of run some offense through Mast. They need a guy that's athletic, can help on the glass, which Bryce Williams has done this year. And I feel like Hoiberg's really been liking what he's been seeing from Bryce Williams because you got 37 minutes.
Yeah, this was something that they were knocking on Hoiberg for since the season started, is not having, a true point guard on the roster. It was Bryce Williams and then Jamarcus Lawrence, who transitioned from, a off-ball shooting guard type player into a ball handler. But as we've seen so far this year, Bryce Williams has been very productive. He's been very, very quiet. He's quietly had good games.
Yeah.
Which I think yesterday was another one. Look at his stats. He had 8 points. He was only 1 of 5 from the field, but he was 5 of 6 from the free throw line, which I think he's been one of the better free throw shooters on Nebraska and in the Big Ten in general, which is big down the stretch. Mm-hmm. He has made some big free throws in those games. Then also the 7 rebounds and 3 assists he's had. He is constantly up there with Gary, Mass, Alec when it comes to rebounding numbers. And yeah, he offers a lot for Nebraska. He is kind of just like that steady guy who they have him playing 37 minutes because you trust him when he's on the court.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like the main thing he just needs to focus on is limiting turnovers, because I feel like there's sometimes he gets a little loose with the ball, but I feel like as the season's gone on, he's gotten better at that. So I really liked what I've seen from Bryce Williams over the past month. But the one person we haven't really talked about, which I want to before we go to the women's team, is ranked Mast. Mast only played 24 minutes. He had 7 points and only had 4 rebounds. He was Gary had 11, Alec had 12, Bryce Williams had 7, and then Mast had 4. What do you like? Mast is. What was the last like really good game he had? Probably Ohio State last time they played. Not when they went on the road, when Ohio State played at PBA. Like, I don't feel like he's topped 14 or 15 points since Ohio State.
He had a stretch against Wisconsin and Illinois. He had 20 and 22 points, but then also like he was just the Wisconsin game. He took 18 shots from the field,
like inefficient.
Illinois, he took 21, which I think yesterday, it wasn't like a bad performance by any means from him. I mean, a little underwhelming, but he took a backseat role to Alec, which in a game like that, when you have a big man like Alec that is doing his part, you don't really need Mast as much. But yeah, and there's other games where Alec, he doesn't have a double-double. He doesn't have 10 points and 12 rebounds. And that's when you really need Mast to step up. And yeah, he's just been very struggling efficiently down the stretch ever since really the Penn State game. Hasn't shot the best from the field. And yeah, it's something that Nebraska, if they want to win games in the Big Ten tournament, they want to win games in the NCAA tournament, they really need him to kind of just get back to that groove where he was at when they first played Ohio State.
Yeah. I mean, we just know Mast is just capable of it. It's just like, I don't know. I don't know if it's been scheme or, I mean, there's been some, I was thinking it was scheme, not getting enough shots, but then like you said, against like Wisconsin, he just had inefficient nights. It's going to be interesting because they're going to need Mast to have good games when they get to the NCAA tournament. Like they can't, like if Nebraska gets to the tournament and Mast is only getting 4 rebounds and 7 points, they're going to have a tough time winning in round 1. I'm just saying, like it's going to be tough. Rutgers is not that good of a team. Sorry to break it to you. They're not. And they honestly played you pretty well in that second half. I know it's second half and Nebraska had a pretty big lead heading into that, but I'm just like, you're going to face some pretty good teams in the tournament and a lot of teams with athletic big men, and Mast has struggled against those. So I'm going to be interested to see how Mast plays when they get to the tournament because they're really going to need him. I don't think they can afford him to not be what he was, a couple months ago. What do you think, Anthony?
Yeah, they'll need him going forward. I will say, I mean, yeah, on paper, Rutgers is not the best team, and offensively so. When you're talking about Rutgers offense, yeah, they're not a good team. Defensively, this is an NCAA tournament caliber defense Nebraska went up against. Second in the Big Ten in average points allowed per game, only allowing 66. And you saw it in the second half. They really were playing Nebraska very tight on defense. Crowd was very, very unhappy with it. They thought they were playing, a little too physical.
Yeah.
But yeah, on offense, Rutgers, leaves a lot to be desired. But on defensively, they have guys like Clifford Morey, Jeremiah Williams, who has really just energized this team. They're a completely different team with him than they were without him for the first 2/3 of the year. But I think Nebraska overall, they did get outscored in the second half, but they did a great job, keeping that lead wire to wire. They never let Rutgers get within 8 points. And even then, when they looked like they were going to, kind of go on a run here, Nebraska was able to pull away. So it was, again, a little too close than a lot of Nebraska fans wanted. But I think it was a good test for this team.
Yeah, I agree. Rutgers does have a good defense. It's still just like, these are the kind of defenses though you're going to go against when you get to the tournament. So especially if Nebraska shoots like they did against Rutgers, because they did not shoot that well, only shot like 33%, which isn't terrible. But when you're going against higher caliber teams, higher caliber offenses, they're going to need more production on offense. But with that, let's move to the women's side of things, because Nebraska tough loss on the road against Illinois. If Nebraska beats Illinois, they get a top 4 seed, get a double bye. They do not have the double bye anymore because they lost by 1 point to Illinois. Nebraska had a chance on the last possession to beat Illinois, weren't able to get the last shot to go in. Then Jazz Shelley threw one up that had no chance of going in. Nebraska loses by 1, 74-73. It's just, I feel like there's a pretty good chance Nebraska loses their first game in the Big Ten tournament and then loses their first game in the NCAA tournament. And they end the season on a 3-game losing streak. Like, that's a very real possibility. And if it is, do you consider this season to be disappointing?
I mean, if they do end on that note, I think a loss maybe in the first round of the tournament, because they're probably in that 8 or 9 seed range. So they're playing a very similar team. I don't know if I chalk that up as a loss, but if they do lose their first game in the Big Ten tournament, then I could see it as a very disappointing year. I think even though like the double bye would have been nice for Nebraska, I kind of like them being the 5 seed. They're going to be playing either 12 seed Purdue or 13th seed Northwestern. I know they beat Purdue twice in the regular season. Those are bottom 4 Big Ten teams that could serve as a nice tune-up game for if they were to win. They'd play Michigan State, the 4 seed, a team that they beat in their lone matchup on the year on the road as well.
Yeah, I'm not saying they can make a run. Just saying it's a possibility.
Yeah, for sure. But I think with how this team is playing, Sunday didn't go their way, but I can see this team at least winning 1 and maybe 2 games in the Big Ten tournament when you have the likes of Jazz Shelley, Alexis Markowski. Natalie Potts just picked up her 8th Big Ten Freshman of the Week, assuming she'll be named Big Ten Freshman of the year when they announce the awards tomorrow. But yeah, I'm not too concerned about this team going forward.
I'm just concerned about the fact that this is a team that I feel like has the talent to win the first round of an NCAA tournament game. Like, you have Jazz Shelley, Alexis Markowski. Natalie Potts has been playing amazing. And you have a lot of good pieces on the bench and in your starting lineup by Kendall Moriarty. I can't speak. Callan Haig, Annika Stewart, people like that. Good bench players that have been there for a number of years. If Nebraska doesn't win a game in the NCAA tournament, I feel like it's going to be disappointing. Unless they make a huge run in the Big Ten tournament, just because this team just has so much talent. Like, Jazz Shelley came back for one more year. Markowski's been playing her best basketball ever. Natalie Potts has been awesome as a freshman to watch. And it's just the fact that I can just feel it that this team is probably going to lose round 1 again. Like, this has a very similar feel to the last time Nebraska went in the NCAA tournament. They played Gonzaga? Was that? I'm trying to remember. I think last time Nebraska was in the tournament, they played Gonzaga. They were like 8th or 9th seed. And they just got dominated down low. Markowski.
They played Gonzaga.
Yeah, didn't have her best game.
Seed.
Like, I just feel like Nebraska's going to play a more physical team. I just feel like they're going to get, it's definitely going to depend on matchup. But I just have this feeling that Nebraska's going to bounce to the first round. And I feel like it's going to be a disappointing season because it's not going to be as disappointing as last season, in my opinion, because Nebraska was ranked at the start of the season. Injuries kind of derailed the season. That was pretty disappointing. But this year, Nebraska's been very solid. But this loss against Illinois really was a gut punch, in my opinion, because the double bye would have been really nice to have.
Yeah, especially the way they ended the game. This is a very winnable game for them. They missed their last 9 shots.
Yes.
Illinois ended the game on a 6-0 run. So it's definitely a heartbreaking defeat for them with the implications of a double bye being on the line. Overall, though, yes, if they lose Big Ten tournament, lose first round NCAA tournament, at least you could still talk about the Iowa game. I feel like that alone, getting kind of the last laugh on Caitlin Clark. I wonder what do you think about that, Ben? Would that?
So, Nebraska beat Purdue, men's team.
Yeah.
So if Nebraska gets bounced first round NCAA tournament, we beat Purdue. That's great. Great season. That's not how I look at it. This is like Amy Williams does not have a win in the NCAA tournament while coaching at Nebraska. Okay. I feel like when she loses Jazz Shelley next year, it's gonna be tough at first. She's gonna have Britt Prince coming in, but again, she's just gonna be a freshman. How much is she gonna? I mean, she's one of the best recruits in the nation, if not is she number one? I'm pretty sure she's number one recruit. But anyways,
5-star.
Five star. So some people are comparing her talent to Caitlin Clark. Some people. Wow. I don't know if I would go that far, but she won 4 state championships. She's at Elkhorn, right? Yeah.
Elkhorn North.
Elkhorn North. So she's obviously knows how to win, how to get a team to win. But again, she's going to be coming in as a freshman. So next year might be another year where they don't win a tournament game because you're going to have a younger team outside of maybe Markowski, some of the other bench players. Because, I mean, you're going to have Natalie Potts, a sophomore, playing a lot of minutes, and you're going to have, Prince playing a lot of minutes as a freshman. So it's going to be a younger team outside of Markowski. So next year, I'm not going to have huge expectations right away, but this is the year for, I feel like, Amy Williams to get her first win in the NCAA tournament. And I just feel like this team is not going into the tournament with a lot of momentum. Like, it just kind of seems, I just feel like the energy around this team is just a little dead. Am I wrong to think that?
I mean, I agree with you. I think when the last time they went to the NCAA tournament, I feel like there was a little bit more higher expectations and a little bit more momentum with the team going into that tournament than now. Yeah, I feel like if they lose first round in either Big Ten or in NCAA, I think people, I don't know, I don't think it will phase people as much, if that makes sense. I don't know. I just don't, I just feel like there hasn't been as much hype or excitement around this team. And
I feel like it might, sorry to cut you off, but I feel like it might be because the men's team is just doing so well.
That's true.
And before men's team, I'm just going to say wasn't very good. Might be putting that lightly. Just hasn't been that good. Not much excitement around men's basketball. Women's basketball is kind of the only thing Husker fans had. Mm-hmm. Now men's team has a chance, a legitimate chance to win their first NCAA tournament game in the history of their program. And the women's team it just kind of seems like the same old thing. Nothing's really changed. It's usually when a coach, each year you can kind of see improvement from the team. And I just feel like from last year to this year, I just feel like there hasn't been that much improvement. It just seems like the same old. Nebraska made a decent run in the WNIT last year. So that was fun way to end the year. But then again, it was disappointing you didn't make the NCAA tournament. Now you're going to make the NCAA tournament, but your team's just going into March pretty cold. But do you guys have any final thoughts before we wrap things up and go to break?
I had one question for you guys. Do you think Fred Hoiberg deserves Coach of the Year for Big Ten?
Ooh. Anthony, you can answer first.
I think so. I think just the turnaround Nebraska's had going back even last year, there's the stat that since February 1st, 2023, the only team that has more wins just total Big Ten is Purdue, and then Nebraska's second place. I think Nebraska preseason polls, this surprised me. I forgot that they were picked to finish 12th in the Big Ten in preseason, which I was high on Nebraska going into the year. I thought they could had the potential to be a tournament team, but clearly the Big Ten coaches or media, whoever voted on that, didn't. So yeah, I think a team projected to finish in the bottom 4 of the conference and is one game away from a double bye in the Big Ten tournament, as well as have pretty much locked up their first tournament at-large bid since a decade ago. I think Hoiberg deserves Coach of the Year.
I mean, he does have a very talented roster. If people were underestimating how good this roster actually was heading into the year, I feel like I don't feel like people are oh, they have Casey. Who else do they have? Well, they got Juwan Gary. They got Bryce Williams. He's pretty good. They got Jamarcus Lawrence, CJ Wilcher. They have a lot of guys. And then younger guys, and then Alec and Mass down low, both bigs that can stretch the floor. Some people don't like Alec shooting threes, but both can stretch the floor. This team, it's just the energy this team plays with. And Hoiberg is the reason for that. And isn't it crazy, though? We're right here debating whether he should be Coach of the Year when Nebraska lost to Minnesota in Creighton. Everyone was saying Hoiberg should be fired.
Oh, yeah.
That just shows how, 180 Husker fans can be. Not to harp on Husker fans, but sometimes everyone just needs to take a chill pill because Like against the loss against Ohio State, everyone was saying we're not a tournament team. Now we beat Rutgers and everyone's so happy. Like, yeah, it reminds me of Dallas Cowboys fans sometimes, but not that bad. I don't want to make that comparison because I don't like Cowboys. But with that, we got to throw it to break because we went pretty long on this segment. When we come back, we're going to get some baseball and softball talk going right here on the Day One Nebraskan show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
A lot of work goes into making Nebraska, Nebraska. Keeping it green. Helping it thrive. Making it fun. Everything that goes into caring for our outdoors, from waters to wildlife, plays a big role in making Nebraska home. Learn how we help conserve our state's natural resources at outdoornebraska.org.
Paid for by Nebraska Game and Parks. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
At Southeast Community College, community is our middle name. Our continuing education classes offer personal interest, traffic safety and licensing, online learning, and adult education classes across Southeast Nebraska or online in your own home. Learn to ride a motorcycle, how to start a small business, how to dance, or take a course to advance in your current career path. See the full schedule of continuing education classes online at southeast.edu/continuing. SCC, your path to possible.
Are you working in or looking to get into the electrical construction industry? The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeymen and apprentices and are offering great pay and benefits. Call Mike at 402-875-1034 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Early break with Sip and Jake.
You did feel the need to cuss in this one. Yeah, you cannot be this mentally fragile. Act like you're a damned NCAA tournament team.
Listen, I'm not going to change the way I tweet.
Do
you think Fred saw the tweet? Do you think Fred saw the tweet and called a timeout and they're like, Sorensen's upset? I got to get this.
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket.
As the chief buffet officer here at Pizza Ranch, I get all kinds of buffet questions. Here's one from Cole.
Is there a real cactus in your cactus bread?
Great question, Cole. No, there is no cactus in our cactus bread, just sweet cinnamony streusel. It's on our buffet every day, along with pizza, chicken, ice cream, and all your other favorites. Even better, at least for your parents, kids eat free on Tuesday nights. And don't worry, Cole, there's no coal in our coleslaw either.
Pizza Ranch, everyone's favorite buffet.
Okay, it's time to sell the house. How do we even begin to choose from the hundreds of realtors in town?
Easy. We make a pros list.
You mean a pros and cons list?
No, just a pros list. We need someone with pro photography to showcase the house in the best possible way, pro marketing to make sure we get maximum exposure, pro negotiations so we know we get the best price.
This is one of those times where you already know the right answer, isn't it?
You know it is. Ben Bleicher and Professional Realty Group.
Contact Ben Bleicher and the team at Professional Realty Group of Berkshire Hathaway's Home Services Ambassador. Online at prg-ne.com.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
24/7 threat monitoring, expert tech support, streamlined communications. Allo has a solution for that. Protect your business with Allo Business. Comprehensive firewall security, Microsoft Teams voice integrated communications, cybersecurity and IT support managed by experts. From productivity to peace of mind, Allo has a solution for that. Allo means business. Protect your business by visiting allofiber.com/business.
It's phishing season. Bad actors are trolling your business emails, luring you and your employees to take the bait and steal your private information. Make sure your cybersecurity keeps your business from being the catch of the day. At Hamilton, cybersecurity is our business. We are experts at keeping your network and business information secure and off the hook. Contact Hamilton for a vulnerability assessment today. Hire your local experts. Hire Hamilton at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
On the block with Strick and Austin.
Now, to tie it back to Nebraska men's basketball, this group has a chance to do something that hasn't been done before.
Yeah.
You know, in making a run in the Big Ten tournament, a serious run, in winning the first NCAA tournament game. but they're not going to get there by doing the same things they've always done. It is on this team to step up and change that narrative. It won't change on its own. Teams won't lay over for you, and that's the mindset shift we haven't consistently seen yet.
Weekdays from 2 to 4 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Back to The Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hello and welcome back into the Daily Nebraska show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Ben, Anthony, and Marissa here with you. And this segment, we're going to go through Husker baseball and softball. We'll start with baseball because Husker baseball, 4-game winning streak. Won every single game this weekend outside of the game that was canceled due to weather. So we're chalk that up as a draw. But Nebraska, nonetheless, very good weekend against Charleston. Won every single game. Didn't win them very convincingly. You know, all close wins, like within 2 runs, 6-5, 5-4, and 5-3. But still, all wins.
I mean, they were the cardiac Huskers this week because all 3 wins came in the final inning. It was the Thursday game. They were down going into the 9th, tied it up, and won in the 10th inning. Saturday, they were down 4-1 in the 8th inning, scored 2 runs in the 8th, 2 runs in the 9th to win. And then it was tied on Sunday in the 9th, and they were able to score 2 runs off some errors to pick up the win. So just honestly, yes, very close in come from behind wins. You probably would like to see at least one, kind of convincing win. It really just shows me a lot where this team's at compared to where they were at this point last year.
Yeah.
Because last year, I mean, they had talent, guys like Bryce Matthews, Max Anderson, Emmett Olson, all 3 guys drafted in the MLB this past summer. But they really just struggled in their non-conference slate. They really their pitching, their bullpen was really bad at the start of the year. Improved gradually throughout, but still left a lot to be desired. Right now, I think pitching's really been one of the biggest strengths for Nebraska.
Which was a weakness last year.
Exactly. There's guys like Kyle Perry, who's a returner, Jalen Worthy, those guys who really stepped up. And then there's also new faces. Tucker Timmerman has been great so far. Ty Horn is another guy. Casey Dice, who is looking like he'll be the closer for Nebraska, got a couple saves this past weekend. So it looks very promising right now. And again, these series wins matter when they're a team that wants to make an NCAA regional down the road. When you're playing in the Big Ten Conference, it's not the strongest for baseball. So that's why you schedule teams like Grand Canyon, who is undefeated going into the Nebraska series, Charleston, undefeated going into the Nebraska series. Yeah. Pulling off these series wins is great for their RPI.
Yeah, and you were saying something to me earlier. Where are they at in the RPI? Huskers?
They're ranked number 3 now.
3. Trace.
Yesterday, after their win, they were ranked number 1. So
number 1. See, Nebraska baseball is on the come up. Yeah, the only thing that's disappointing me is that Nebraska lost 2 of their first 3 because I feel like Nebraska could easily be 8-2 or 9-1.
Yeah, they even had leads in those games. It's some late inning collapses.
Just that's the only thing that's disappointing to me is Nebraska could easily be 9-1, but you can't get everything you want. So you got I think Husker fans should still be happy that they're 7-3 right now. Better than you can just tell this team they have a little bit extra than they did last year. I just feel like this team has a chance to they're going to win more games this year. They're just more. It's just a more talented team this year. I feel like the bats are going to be better this year. The pitching much improved. I'm excited for it. I will say before the Jordy Ball injury, I was more excited for softball. But softball, if we kind of want to transition into that, softball's had it rough. Nebraska did not win a single game over this past weekend. 0-4 in their own, all at home in their own invitational. Lost to Wichita State twice. Neither one of them close games. Lost 7-1 and 17-4. And then they lost to number 14 ranked Missouri 10-6 and then 5-1. It just seems like when I'm looking at these scores, Nebraska only scored 1 run in 2 of the 4 games. It's so those there, the bats are struggling. And then you get other games where you're giving up 17 points to Wichita State. So it's like the pitching struggling. It just seems like every game it's something different for this team. And that's just surprising to me because I'm not surprised that the pitching is not as great because, when you lose the best pitcher in college softball, it's gonna be hard on your pitching. But the bats have kind of been a little disappointing to me because you had 2 games, only 1 run. Like that's just for a team that's returning a lot of players from last year's roster that was a pretty good offense last year. It's just kind of weird to me they're struggling to start off. We'll see if they can get things back on track when they get to Big Ten play. But I would say the bats has been the most disappointing thing. Nebraska's offense has really struggled.
Why do you think that is? Do you think it's just like the inexperience of the younger players, or I don't know? Yeah, talk a little bit more about.
I just think the energy on this team is just not there. Just like the Jordy Ball injury really just dampened things. There was so much excitement around this team, and now it's just like Jordy Ball got hurt. I mean, like there was so much talk and so much chatter about this team. Then when Jordy Ball got hurt, it's kind of been quiet. And it's even quiet. It hasn't been this quiet ever since they went 0-4 over this weekend. Like it is quiet. Like when I checked Twitter, honestly, I didn't see one tweet about Husker softball. I don't remember the last time that happened ever since Jordy Ball came here. Like there's just not a lot of excitement around the team. And I feel like it's kind of getting to the team. I still think this is still a talented team. I think they're going to get back on track. I feel like, again, beginning season, bats are going to be a little off to start the season.
Mhm.
But we'll see because this is a rough start. Nebraska right now sits 8-10 overall. Just like has not been great. 4-game losing streak. We'll see when they get. I mean, and the thing that's even more disappointing is this was at home. It's not like they were in Mexico or something going 0-4. They were at home. Like the first time Husker fans get to see this softball team this year, they don't win a single game. And not only did they not win a single game, none of them were even really close. It's just like the energy around this team is just not there. And it's just kind of disappointing to me because I was super pumped going into this year. Them being ranked preseason, Jordy Ball, one of the best softball players in the country, a lot of returning players from last year. There's a lot of excitement. Now, it's dead silent. What do you guys have anything to say?
Yeah, I agree with you. Just an injury like that to a player like that, it's never easy to come back from.
No.
But even then, I feel like, again, not winning a single game this weekend. Yet, Wichita State, solid team. Missouri, ranked team. But definitely expected at least more of a fight to be put up from this team with players returning like Billy Andrews, Brooke Andrews, Ava Bredwell. They certainly have. Again, pitching may be a struggle, but they certainly have the bats.
See, like that was what I was looking for because we knew, like, when Jordy Ball got hurt, I was like, okay, I don't even really want to talk about the batting. What's going to be going on with the pitching? The pitching hasn't been great, but like batting also has to be better. You're not going to win games against Missouri and Wichita State if you're only putting up 1 run. Like it's just it's been a struggle on both sides. It's not just pitching. It's not just defense or bat. Like it's been everything. So, Ron Revelle, she's got a lot on her plate because I'm not saying she's on the hot seat or anything because Revelle brought Jordy Ball in, big get. Last year, Nebraska was pretty good, but it's still just like if Nebraska's going to be able to turn the season around, they got a lot of work to do. But with that, we got to throw it to break. When we come back, we're going to have one last segment, short segment, just going over the other Husker sports, Olympic sports, gymnastics, wrestling. Oh my gosh, I can't think of any, tennis, all that. We'll talk about all that right here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Introducing The Outlet by Sartor Heyman. The Outlet brings you luxurious Sartor Heyman quality jewelry at unbeatable prices. Shop our expansive inventory of overstocked merchandise and a vast estate collection that just hasn't found its home yet. This is your chance to own stunning designer jewelry at a fraction of the cost. Elevate your style at The Outlet by Sartor Heyman, where luxury and affordability meet. Downtown at 12th and O or online at sartorheyman.com.
Ever wish you had another light switch on the other side of the room on a dark night? How much better would you sleep at night if you had a ceiling fan in your room? The High Electric Service Department is here to make your electrical what-ifs a reality. Whether you're looking to replace some outdated light fixtures or brighten up your counters with under-cabinet lighting, High Electric can handle all types of residential electrical installations and services. Give Erica a call at 402-466-6606 or visit high-electric.com to get started.
Tractor, planter, combine, an easy track lawnmower, or gator, every piece of equipment in pre-owned inventory is put through a rigorous inspection so it's ready to work hard for you. Landmark's team works together to make sure everything is sold meets their quality standards. Learn more at landmarkimp.com or stop into a local Landmark location and experience the Landmark difference.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is now open in Lincoln. Shop our expansive collection of wine, beer, spirits, and cigars at 5040 North 27th Street. From top shelf liquor to crowd favorite beer, Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits has a beverage for every taste and every budget. Plus, join our loyalty program to earn rewards and save on future purchases. Shop Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits at 5040 North 27th Street in Lincoln. That's 5040 North 27th Street.
Integrated Life Choices has been inspiring opportunities for individuals with disabilities for more than 15 years in Lincoln and across Nebraska by offering a number of services. From group homes to independent living resources and job training, you'll find the support that allows people to live fulfilling lives. They're also hiring. If you're looking for a rewarding career supporting people with developmental disabilities, you can check out open positions along with learning more about services at ilc.net. Integrated Life Choices.
24/7 threat monitoring, expert tech support, streamlined communications. Allo has a solution for that. Protect your business with Allo Business. Comprehensive firewall security, Microsoft Teams voice integrated communications, cybersecurity and IT support managed by experts. From productivity to peace of mind, Allo has a solution for that. Allo means business. Protect your business by visiting allofiber.com/business.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round. And their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Hi, everyone. Kendall Warnock, A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. The last few years have been wild, but we've been here for you through all the ups and downs, and we'll be here for you when you need us the most, for all your travels and for your day-to-day driving. With winter conditions causing problems all over town, the last thing anyone needs this year is constant car troubles. Let us help you drive in peace and make sure you drive to work and to winter destinations safe. A1 Automotive, 11th and L Street downtown, always honest answers.
Step into healing at Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery. Our team of top-notch medical professionals turns pain into progress with state-of-the-art treatments and compassionate care. Visit prairieortho.com and discover the difference in quality orthopedic and plastic surgery services tailored to your unique needs. Your health matters, and Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery is dedicated to helping you thrive. Reach your full potential. Embrace a better tomorrow with Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery.
24/7 threat monitoring, expert tech support, streamlined communications. Allo has a solution for that. Protect your business with Allo Business. Comprehensive firewall security, Microsoft Teams voice integrated communications, cybersecurity and IT support managed by experts. From productivity to peace of mind, Allo has a solution for that. Allo means business. Protect your business by visiting allofiber.com/business.
Back to the Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hello and welcome back to the Daily Nebraskan Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. One last segment here. Gonna be a short segment, only like 3 minutes, but gonna wrap up with some other Husker sports talk. First game I'm seeing that happen this weekend outside of beach volleyball, because beach volleyball had a rough weekend. Didn't they lose both games?
They won some, but they did have some losses there. I think they went 3-3.
They're 3-3. Okay,
But they played a lot.
I only saw the 3 losses, so I didn't see any of the wins. I must be looking in the wrong places. But other than that, women's tennis. Oh my gosh, I lost where I was. Women's tennis beat Omaha 7-0, so that was good. Women's gymnastics beat North Carolina and Southeast Missouri State and Illinois State. Went 3-0, so that's good for women's gymnastics team. That's trying to get back into the top 25 rankings. They fell out of it. They were kind of on the edge. They were ranked number 24, I believe, last week. Fell out of those rankings, trying to get back in. We'll see if they can do that. Soccer started back up. Just saw, literally, I was looking at it during the break. Didn't realize Husker soccer was back up. Beat Omaha 1-0 on Sunday, but then lost a very exciting game. Tied a very exciting game to Drake 0-0. So high scoring affair right there. Men's gymnastics had 2 competitions on Sunday. Beat Air Force, number 15 Air Force to number 8 California. Isn't it interesting? Air Force has the number 15 ranked men's gymnastics team.
Yeah, I think so.
I just find that interesting.
Probably in pretty good shape.
Yeah, I mean, probably. I guess, yeah, it is Air Force. And then, beach volleyball. Now I'm seeing the win. They beat Houston Christian 3-2. 3 sets to 2. But then other than that, women's basketball team lost by 1 to Illinois. Then men's team beat Rutgers by 11. So overall, pretty good week for Husker Athletics, at least for men's side. Women's basketball team, tough loss to Illinois, but still in a decent spot. 5th seed in the Big Ten tournament, have a chance to win some games, and they're pretty much locked into the NCAA tournament. So the West, I guess, doesn't matter that much, but it's going to be interesting to see for them. But men's team, there's a lot of excitement around this team, but they have a week break.
Yep.
Men's team isn't going to be back and playing until next Sunday, I believe. And that's going to be at Michigan. So it's kind of going to be a low energy game at Michigan to end the year because Michigan just not that good.
Yeah, must-win game for Nebraska, too, if they want the double bye. Still hold tiebreakers over Wisconsin, Michigan State, Northwestern, but watch out for Iowa.
Iowa's been they've been
Iowa
good.
Has the tiebreaker over Nebraska, and a win on next Sunday for them and a loss for Nebraska, they would jump Nebraska in the rankings.
But there's no way Nebraska's going to lose to Michigan, right?
You would think.
Then again, it is on the
Either
road.
way,
It's on the road. We'll see. With that, we're going to wrap things up here on the Daily Nebraskan Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Thank you for listening. We'll be right back here tomorrow, same time, 11 to 12. Me and Joseph will get you through the night right here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. See you.
Hey guys, Jake Sorensen here from Early Break. The garage door at our house has been needing replacement for a couple years, and a few months ago, we finally did something about it. Steve's Garage Doors and Services was great through the whole process in providing options and also going to the next level to get a door that was approved by our